Hi, my name is Chase Wolf, and I'll be talking about assumed anonymity today. People often fall into a false sense of safety when it comes to creating an alternative life for themselves. They don a mask of a different identity, which frees users to be whatever their imaginations will allow. Of course, I'm talking about creating oneself in Second Life, and this mask exists figuratively. Nonetheless, as I have read about, heard stories of, and experienced with my own keyboard, the mask shapes almost every user's experience in some way. Wearing a virtual mask of anonymity allows users to feel in control while they simultaneously free themselves from their normal actions, motivations, and restrictions. Through the creation of an unrecognizable virtual user, there is a feeling of comfort that your virtual life has no boundaries or real-life consequences. My experiences have shown me that this thinking is not always true, nor is the mask always as safe as one might think. This being said, it can make for one hell of an interesting ride. Stephen Meadows talks about this ride in the book I, Avatar: The Culture and Consequence of Having a Second Life. In it, he states that when users build their avatars, they arrive at an alternate, less protected version of themselves. He explains this concept further in the chapter entitled The Assumption of the Mask. Meadows claims that over 75% of Internet users feel safer speaking their minds when they use an avatar. When a user creates an avatar, joins a group, or even accepts the rules or roles of a certain island, he subconsciously allows himself to step out of the shadow of his former self. There is an understanding that because he can turn off the computer at any time, he can easily escape any situation. It is assumed that because whomever he may be interacting with is not physically present or even in the same country, he is safe. Safe to become a less inhibited version of his human self. He can say more, express more, and act in ways normally restricted by his own emotional barometer. This allows users to feel free without the fears normally tied to these actions. My first experience interacting with an avatar named Sweetheart Ruby seemed to confirm Meadows' main claim. Sweetheart Ruby had asked me to dance, and since I had not known how to and wished to experience in-world life, I accepted with little hesitation. Truth be told, I hate dancing. So as I was dancing with this unknown avatar, it struck me that I had become more daring and less limited by my fears. I was wearing the mask, and it allowed me to release my self-conscious fears that normally would prevent me from dancing with a stranger. Before this encounter, I did not know how to dance in Second Life, nor did I understand the motivation for this virtual activity, but in this moment I believed it would cause me no harm, and I had nothing to risk. This was my first realization that even if one is aware of the mask, it is easy to fall into it. While I was dancing with Sweetheart, I also felt perfectly comfortable asking her questions that would seem far too personal to broach with a stranger in the real world. I asked her if she felt like she became a different person when acting and communicating through her avatar. She seemed very comfortable answering my questions and surprised me with her response. She was one of the few people I encountered who claimed that she did not. Of course, her response could be interpreted in two ways. Maybe Sweetheart Ruby really was one of those people who felt comfortable striking up conversations and dancing with complete strangers in real life. Or maybe what she meant was that the avatar she embodied, dancing with me in this surreal virtual world, felt to her like such a part of herself that, while hidden, she felt very much connected to. This raised curious questions for me. Was one of us more real than the other, based on the extent to which we used our avatars as a mask? And did it really matter one way or the other? Through my in-world research, I found that many people are drawn to the mask of Second Life because of its many freedoms it offers the user, or at least seems to. The freedoms and limitless possibilities of a virtual world allow users to assume they are safe in situations that would normally be approached with caution. For example, in many areas within Second Life, it is normal to just roam in and out of any environment, regardless of who owns the property. On one visit to Second Life, I was exploring a foreign island to find any unique avatars that might offer a different perspective of my theory of the mask. I was having very little success when I stumbled onto a magnificent castle. There was a large staircase leading up to the castle, and so I thought I would venture up and search for others. However, once inside the castle, a message promptly told me to vacate the property in 30 seconds, or else. I left rather quickly. While I felt in real danger, because I was informed that danger was imminent, in reality the threat itself was probably all that was there. This situation showed me, however, that in virtual worlds with unclear boundaries, users have difficulty seeing the boundaries or dangers until they are already knee-deep in them. Similar to how I uncharacteristically accepted Sweetheart's invitation to dance, I can't imagine myself wandering aimlessly through someone else's property in real life, but here it seemed perfectly okay to go wherever I wanted. In the process of sharing many unsettling stories of alternative avatar relationships, Meadows also implies that, although we initially seem able to hide behind the freedom of the mask, the avatar often only provides an illusion of safety and control. In reality, this illusion can make our real selves even less safe because we allow ourselves to fall into uncharted circumstances. I believe that most users don't even realize how comfortable they actually become when they assume the role of anonymous avatar. This comfort and implied safety from inhibitions and social norms is all too easy to embrace without considering the very real consequences.